Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we've got a bit of a news update. The new second stage to the road for Battlefield 5 is now live in Battlefield 1. You can unlock your first wave of new skins today, and there's another hidden blurred out skin for something that is going to transition into the Battlefield 5 game. Stage 1 gave us a Lewis machine gun skin that will translate into Battlefield 5. So we know the Lewis machine gun is coming to BF5 and we can take a skin over from Battlefield 1 into that game. And then we've got this blurred out one here that, of course, I'm not 100% sure on. Some of these weapons we can guess on, but it does look like some sort of bolt action rifle. There's a new Zodiac dog tag that you can get for destroying 25 vehicles. And then, of course, the exchange is updated and there's some decent legendary stuff that you can unlock if you don't already have it. These scraps are now very easy to get, as every single day on the road to Battlefield 5, you can unlock something like 600 scraps. So it's pretty easy to build up your scrap stockpile and unlock these legendary skins if you don't already have them. I went ahead and unlocked the new Type 38 Arisaka skin, which you can see here, and it looks good. I like it a lot. It's a good legendary skin. Doesn't require much work. 30,000 points to unlock this one, and then also the golden Madsen machine gun skin. Both good looking skins that I've got some gameplay here with to just show off. Also, I've got that 1911 skin that I unlocked during stage 1 for the road to Battlefield 5. I imagine there'll probably be a stage 3 too, maybe even a stage beyond that. There's also supposed to be a Battlefield 1 patch supposedly coming out today. It was supposed to come out today. One of the developers tweeted or messaged that it was still in the certification process, I think with Microsoft, to get that out. So it might not be coming out today, but if it does come out today, I think that means we'll be seeing the new Burton LMR, which is an interesting dual mag machine gun or assault rifle machine gun style weapon, and also a suppressed 1911, which means you could technically run a full suppressed loadout if you're running with the suppressed sniper rifle and the suppressed 1911, something I'm excited to try out, try and move around stealthily on the map. They're adding a new variant of the Annihilator SMG, the Annihilator Storm. Then they're adding in the generally used Storm with a alternate fire mode. So basically the medic is going to have a bolt action like alternative that has never really been available to the medic class. So this will kind of increase the roles you can play as the medic, and I played with it, really enjoyed the generally used Storm with the alternate fire mode. It's very cool, very versatile. Then they're also going to change the tanker and pilot weapons so that you can use them with the assault and support class. Some of them will go to assault, some of them will go to support, but this will be great for anyone who is disappointed that those weapons were only available if you chose the tank or pilot class, in which case you're not really supposed to be playing infantry anyway, and the only reason you'd be running around with them is if you bailed out of your tank or airplane. So this is actually a pretty substantial update to the game, provided that they don't kill anything from the patch that they've been testing in CTE. If this all comes out today or tomorrow, that's pretty exciting. It's a significant update to Battlefield 1, and I'm frankly really looking forward to playing it. Oh yeah, and I totally forgot they're bringing in the new Shock Operations game mode, which is just a single stage of operations with a smaller player count. So if you missed that 40 player operations, they're kind of bringing that in a more bite-sized package this time around. I'm excited about this. I hope that the game mode takes off and is just in general a more fun version of operations. DICE is also making the Turning Tides DLC free right now, along with Second Assault on Battlefield 4. So if you haven't picked up any of the free DLCs, you should do so now. Some people were saying it wasn't available on certain platforms, but I think DICE has the intention of making it free on all platforms. So just check today or tomorrow to see if you can get either of those two DLCs for free, because once you download them, they are linked to your account and you have them permanently, as they usually only make them free for about a week or so, and you have to get it within that time period. Now, there's been some rumors or talk about the Battlefield 5 alpha starting soon, maybe before the end of this month, maybe early next month. But basically, there's a bunch of game changers talking about it and speculating, I'm making air quotes, about it being very soon, which leads me to believe that they know exactly when it's going to be and that it is happening very soon. So I've kind of got my eyes open, my ears perked, waiting for any sort of news on a Battlefield 5 alpha. But that could be really exciting, being able to play the game at home on my own system, see how it plays on my hardware. And there's nothing like playing your favorite games on your own at-home system where you can really customize and set up all the sensitivity just the way you like it. So this will be my first time really getting to sync some real time into the game whenever this alpha happens. If it is a closed alpha, I don't know if that means that we'll be able to capture gameplay footage of it. I'd imagine it would probably be the same map shown at EA Play. So I don't see why EA wouldn't want footage of it showing up on the web, since it is technically free marketing. So hopefully we can make videos with it. Now, as far as the rest of Battlefield 1 goes, leading up to Battlefield 5, somebody was talking about how this might be the last patch for Battlefield 1, which I hope it's not. I imagine, especially if they're coming out with a new game mode, and if it doesn't work perfectly or they want to change some things to it, that they'll patch it and work a little bit more on it. Battlefield 4 was receiving patches way past its sort of heyday in its development. So hopefully the devs will keep working on Battlefield 1 all the way up to at least the release of Battlefield 5, maybe even adding a new weapon or two in there just to keep people interested. I've really been enjoying the road to Battlefield 5. It's probably the first time in Battlefield 1's history that the progression system has been a bit more interesting. Give me something to do on a daily basis that was more interesting and progressed me towards unlocking skins and stuff like that. So BF1's come a long way. The progression system still isn't what I would call good, but it is like the first time that I'm actually enjoying the day-to-day progression. So I hope that DICE keeps working on stuff and adding stuff into the game, at least up until the launch of the next one. Now, yesterday I launched a video talking about movies and or documentaries that would be good to watch to sort of prepare yourself for putting some context behind some of the Battlefield 5 maps and battles that are going to be played in the game. You know, something to make the game a bit more interesting. This was met with a bit of controversy because people are still upset with the way that DICE is portraying World War II in Battlefield 5, using female soldiers on the front lines. I mean, it's mostly female soldiers on the front lines, but also the prosthetic arm and some of the goofy cosmetic stuff. People are I think we're expecting a more authentic looking and feeling game, and this is ruining that authenticity for some people. For me personally, having played Battlefield 5 and seen the new gameplay trailer and seen all the gameplay that's come out on the game so far, I'm pretty darn excited for it. I feel like the visual spectacle that's presented doesn't kill the immersion or the feeling that I'm in a type of World War II battle, but I know it will for some, especially for people who know more about World War II or expecting something of a more authentic experience. And I certainly don't want to make the mistake that I think EA has made, which is basically discrediting people of that opinion or calling them sexist for not wanting women in a military battle in which there were no women on the front lines. I feel like wanting historical accuracy up to a certain point is not a ridiculous request. But what's interesting is that there's actually a lot of fictionalized World War II games and movies, like Inglourious Basterds, really great movie by Quentin Tarantino. A lot of you guys have probably all seen it, which involves a alternate history storyline, completely different from what actually happened in World War II. The Castle Wolfenstein games offer crazy alternate history and storylines. And technically, I think all games are just as disrespectful to people who actually fought in the war, but they're sort of, those games and those movies are portraying themselves in that way from the start. DICE sort of tried to portray Battlefield 5 in that way from the start by mentioning it, but I think the audience, generally speaking, was expecting something a little bit more in line with historical accuracy, especially since DICE spends so much time getting the sound effects right, the weapon models right, a lot of details in the game exactly historically accurate, and then they just go way off the beaten path in other areas. I think that throws people for a loop and gives them expectations about what a Battlefield game should be when DICE doesn't want to be bound by some of the historical accuracy context. So this is definitely a turning point in the franchise in terms of like trying to change or alter people's expectations of the game, I think. Even though Battlefield 1942 had the Secret Weapons DLC, most of the game was still based on historical accuracies and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, how this affects the game's adoption and sales. I saw a lot of hate in yesterday's videos and people saying that they didn't want to support the game simply because of the aesthetic choices that DICE has made. So I'm very curious to see how much of this is rabble-rousing, how much of this is people actually not going to play the game. And I guess only time will tell whether or not this was a smart business decision or not. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's video. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have that new patch and we can test out the new Burton LMR in-game. I'm curious to see if the incendiary rounds are actually very effective against enemy aircraft. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.